Yes?
Yeah.
So I have been saying to Behzad for quite some time, a
Yeah.
couple years now, that we should be recording our conversations, because what happens is when we're here in our little beautiful toxin-free apartment, we are making things or eating things or drinking bone broth, and we always end up having these really deep conversations. A lot of the time, it's about the way that we live and the way that we used to live, because neither one of us lived like this. Neither one of us knew how to live like this. So
Or
now,
even thought this was a possibility
yes,
to live like this.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we are going to open this up and record it so that you can get a glimpse into our
Life.
rewards,
Yeah.
all the advantage and benefits that we've been experiencing, because we lived like everyone else for the majority of our lives, and now we live a completely different way, and how much our life has flourished, and our bodies perform so much differently, and just day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, it has become such an advantage. So we want to show you and share that with you, and so you are officially welcomed and invited into our apartment, and we're just going to pretend that the recordings are not going on and give you a glimpse of what it's really like.
Yeah,
Yeah?
so where should we start?
Well, I guess I feel like I should start because
Yeah.
I got him into this. And so I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis when I was about 12, and given a pill to take for the rest of my life, and just sent on my way. And um, I found out that the my thyroid didn't work. So it was like I was born without one. And the thyroid controls the metabolism. And so people who really struggle with weight, no matter, like, they can eat nothing but be really obese, might not have a thyroid that works. So that really frightened me as a young teenage, well, beginning to be teenage girl. And this medication makes it my thyroid act as if it was working. So every single medical professional has always said, do whatever you do not stop taking this pill for the rest of your life. And that's all I knew. And then I also knew that this controls weight. So I literally started saving my babysitting money. I knew that the food that we ate at our house was not healthy. A lot of it was boxed treats and sugary cereal, and
I just want to interject. While Laura was saving her babysitting money for healthy food, I was saving my lawn mowing money for baseball cards and football cards.
and he was growing up on one side of the city and I was growing up on the other, and that's a whole nother podcast. But yeah, so I felt like if I ate food from a health food store, that I would be healthy, and my weight would be good. And so I would literally, like, ride my bike to a health food store, use my babysitting money, and really anything that was in the health food store I could eat in my mind because it was healthy. So, fast forward many years and many agonizing struggles and internal conflicts and literal weight gains and losses. Tons of stories of me, like, driving hours out of my way to get sugary snacks and as long as it was low fat and different things. I finally, once and for all, after food being so stressful, me always thinking about food, worried about my weight would go up and down. I'd have to like have huge calorie restriction in order to lower my weight or over exercise to try to lower my weight. Just it caused so much stress and what to eat and should I eat this and I don't want to eat this but I can't stop thinking about it, and so I finally would eat it and didn't feel horrible. Literally my stomach would hurt and my psyche because I would think, how do you not have willpower? Like, why are you eating something you don't want to eat and that makes you gain weight? So
It's a horrible feeling, you know, when you feel like you're the failure, you're the one
yeah.
that's, yeah.
So once and for all, I decided to find out what humans need nutritionally because there has to be an answer. Like, we're biological, made of cells. Like, there has to be some instructions that come with our physical bodies. And that's when I learned that I would always feel hungry until my body got the nutrients it needed, and that nutrients came from nutrient dense food, and that's what changed everything for me.
Yeah.
So yes, so finding nutrient dense food was the next challenge. It's very difficult in the US. It's not in the grocery stores. Our soil is really struggling because that's where the nutrients come from. And then how to protect the nutrients when I was cooking, which I did not know how to do. So I had to learn how to cook. And even though that sounds daunting, it is so much easier than the way I used to live. Because what I found is even going grocery shopping for convenience foods like cereal, and you have to drive to the store and go through traffic and park the car and search up and down the aisles and gather everything, pay for it, pack it up, unload it, get home, eat it, not really feel hungry, start that whole cycle of not feeling well. And so now how we live is just so easy. It's so nourishing. It's so delicious.
Yeah.
It is
Satiating.
satiating. Um, so anyway, I wanted to protect the nutrients, so that's what led me to um, learning more about what we put on our skin, because our skin is our largest organ, and what you put on your skin enters your bloodstream just as like something that you would eat. So then I'm like, what? Like, what about the shampoo and the lotion and blah, 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 blah. So I just started thinking about all of those factors. I learned about clothing, what I sleep in the bed, different chemicals and toxins in our everyday items that block our endocrine system from working and are causing obesity. So there again, we come back to the weight gain. And I'm like, if I'm doing all this, like, I don't want that to happen. So I just started living as naturally and chemical free as possible. And let me tell you, my life has been transformed. The way my body performs, my mind, my spirit, I've become the happiest I've ever become. Day after day, I just leap out of bed. I've gotten so many things done because of the productivity. And then I was so blessed a few years ago to meet Behzad. And so he just started like experiencing, well, I'll let him tell you, but
Yeah.
what was it like to
Well,
slowly
first,
start?
it was refreshing when we met because you meet a lot of people, for instance, that they say they love to do yoga and they do yoga just this is just an example. People I've met though, but and then you go and they don't do it, and ask them, hey, do you want to go to yoga? Like, no, rather watch well, at the time, I don't know, watch something. But I came over here and I was just astounded. It's like, wow, you actually live like this, and this is something I've always wanted. I just never knew what it looked like or how to do it or even if it was out there, nothing. And I was immediately drawn into it. Just, I could see the happiness that Laura has always, and just how simple it is as well. So started with the food, and it was a crash course, a boot camp, because we eventually moved in with each other, and well, it was had to be done. And the food never tasted better. I mean, I just was like, why do they make anything else? Why do they put preservatives? Why are all these things done? And then eventually clothing. And we're up here in Minnesota where it gets minus 20 degrees, and I've been out there shoveling snow, we have, and it's fine. We went out for walks when it's 10 below across the lake, and we've been fine. And really warm. We just went for a walk right now, and I was getting hot, and it was what, 10 degrees, something
with
like that.
Huge wind with
Yeah.
wind chill. It was probably
Coming off the
below.
river,
I
yeah.
know.
And so
and one thing that reminds me is both of us were raised, and just all around us, we just thought that we needed gear.
yeah,
Or we needed certain kinds of clothing for certain things.
right.
So that's just, it's like a brain,
Retrain.
a retraining of the brain.
Yeah, and it's such a freeing thing too. It's like, I don't know, there's so many things that you're going to be listening to in our podcast show. There's going to be so many things that you're going to be listening to, watching, all of it, that we can't cover it all in one. So
No.
we just have to say to stay tuned for everything. But one thing I can tell you right now is the happiness and the simplicity of this life. Being able to live in a modern life, we're not homesteading, we're not doing all these things. We are living just as seamlessly as everyone else. It's just that we don't have an overabundance of toxins and plastic and all of that. I mean, they're causing a lot of havoc to human health and everything. But taking away, we don't even have to look at the negatives. It's just the positives are so happy. You don't have to compare it to anything else and make it negative. It's
Well, yes. However, a couple of things that really are standing out in my mind is, one, I never knew that I didn't feel well.
yeah,
Because I didn't ever experience what real nutrients tasted like and how my body performed. So I just grew in, like I was born into this system where I was always not feeling well, and I didn't even recognize that.
totally.
And then two, the benefits are, it's overwhelming for me to list them because there's so many, but just the big things, like how much freedom of time and money and debt free, and the stress of having to do errands and run this way and that at least one day of the week, in order to live in modern society. We don't have that at all.
No.
Like, we haven't been to stores, and this sounds like we're weird because if I would have listened to a show or seen a show like that said that, I would have been like, that's impossible and it's weird. But we're like hybrids.
Yeah.
because we use all of the modern technology that allows us to
reach you.
Yes. Yes. And to really excel in life. But our human cells, our biological cells, are performing for the first time in both of our lives the way that they're meant to perform. And that gives us an advantage.
Yeah.
A total advantage, because we're not sick. We feel well when we wake up. We get up and we work and we talk to people and we enjoy every life and morsel of food that we eat until we're at the end of the day where we just fall asleep and just sleep a deep successful sleep and get up and we're just do it again because it's like effortless.
Yeah.
Whereas I remember, I'm going to leave you with this. I remember not really struggling with what do I do with my life. And there were so much pressures in my town to go to a certain college, in just peer groups and people around me you have to be successful. So that meant a house and a car and married and, it looks like a certain way. You have a profession, you have health insurance, you have your degree with your job and all of that. And I remember I had achieved it. I had 2 degrees. I had a career. I was, advancing in my career. We were married. I had the house, 2 cars. We had money. And I didn't want to get out of bed. I had an alarm clock and I would turn it off. Now I don't have an alarm clock.
Yeah, we just wake up.
We just wake up. I had an alarm clock. It was torture when it went off. I didn't want to get out of bed. And I would sit there and I'd be laying in bed going, what is wrong with me? I have everything that I was supposed to have and I feel awful, depressed. Like I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to get out of bed. How am I the same person? I have not felt like that in years.
Well, you're not the same person.
I'm not the same person, but I am the same person. Like the things that we're going to share with you in our life and looking at our life, that's the only thing that changed. I'm not on medication. I don't have any special pill. I don't use drugs or alcohol. There is nothing artificial about this true happiness and physical soaring in performance, except the most basic natural birthrights that we're all born with. It's all it is a return to that.
Well, you know what I was plagued with is fitting in. And I was so consumed with that I needed to have the right car for Minnesota, and that was a Subaru in my mind. I had to wear the right, especially winter clothing. They had to be the right colors, the hiking boots and all that.
The stuff that's applied to the fabric.
All the Gore-Tex and stuff. Well, that's just... well, all the weatherproofing and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, I fit in even more, I would say. I'm more confident about who I am and what I'm doing because of this life.
Because don't you feel really like yourself?
Yeah. My basic needs are being met. And that's the advantage I have, is that I am more confident than the person that I used to be, because I know what I'm doing now. There's purpose and there's happiness, and I just can't speak more about it. But I think that's the main thing. That's the outcome for me. And we have our store, and we talk to people, we have dinners, and we socialize, and people love it. There is a whole community out there of people who are there already, and or people who are striving to be there, and we meet all of them, and it's such an honor.
What I love is like when you were talking about the clothes, like our clothing is very rare
Mm-hmm.
because it's hard to find plant dyed organic fabrics and completely natural toxin free.
Well, because the demand isn't there yet.
Right.
But yeah,
But what happens is people come up, so many people have come up like, oh my gosh, like I love what you're wearing. And so not only are we experiencing like the natural temperature regulating of
yeah.
the natural clothing and how soft it is and how easy it is to move around, like there's so much freedom in real
Mm-hmm.
like clothing, just like real food, just gives you this new freedom. That's how real clothing is. It allows you to move and perform, and it doesn't smell, and it's just, there's so many benefits to it. But people are drawn to it because it's real material. They're like, that's so beautiful. And they're coming like and approaching us, even though I know that no one else, probably in our state, dresses like we do because it's almost impossible to find the clothing.
If you want to know how good this, we were in New York City and being complimented. I had like, there were 20-year-old guys that were saying how, I don't know, fashionable. I forgot the word they used because, I forgot.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised and happy about that. Like, I didn't need that to feel good about it, but it just gives me so much hope
Yeah.
that this stuff, well, because it looks good, it feels good, and I mean, you'll be ahead of the curve. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the advantage right there.
There's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
I think that's so good.
Yeah,
Don't you?
I think so. How'd we do?
Yeah. Well, we just I think it can be overwhelming for both of us to express hmm, the gratitude, the transformation, because it really is profound.
It
You
is.
know, when I think back to the person who didn't want to get out of bed and what that person is like today,
Yeah.
it's not the same person. And the only thing that changed was how I treated those biological human cells.
Yeah.
That's all that's changed, which is really great news for all of you if you've ever not wanted to get out of bed or known deep down that it has to be easier or that you're meant to feel better but you're not sure why, or if you've ever like been distracted during a conversation thinking about wanting to eat or
Yeah.
been pulled out of the moment. This is not your fault. Like, we literally, if we would have been born 100 years ago, our bodies would be performing so much differently, and our bodies include our spirit and our mind.
Yeah.
So when we're not nourished physically with those nutrients, it affects our mind, it affects our spirit. We're not really in that moment when we're thinking about a Reese's peanut butter cup on the table over there.
No.
Like, I'm not really interacting with my mate or my friend or my family when my brain is hijacked thinking about that sale that's going on for those, the 25th pair of jeans that I never wear, but I really want to get to that sale. Like, there's so many distractions that we were just born into that we're not even aware of. So
Yeah.
we just invite you to learn and immerse yourself. If you're not ready to do it for yourself, just immerse yourself in what we do and see it day after day of, because I was never able to see or hear a different way of living.
No.
So that's why we're
Yeah.
doing this.
And just keep listening. If you're not ready, just keep listening.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're giving you some entertainment value while we're doing this.
Totally. Totally.
And so,
Yeah.
at the very least, and you never know what's going to happen. Just
Yep.
like I didn't.
Yep.
You didn't know how
I
happy
didn't.
you'd become.
I know.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
for joining
much.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been such a privilege to be in your valuable time and valuable space. We treasure that and we don't take that lightly. And so we're just so grateful.
Till next time.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.